But there is one thing I do know. The Detroit Lions took it on the chin yesterday to the San Francisco 49ers. We will discuss 41-33, the final score there. You knew that. The breaking news, though, from Lions camp that literally just came out moments before we went on air, Jeff Okudah will be out the rest of the season, a ruptured Achilles for Okudah. Corey Woods was jumping on that story. Ruptured Achilles, T-Foss, the number 3 overall pick. And the other thing for me, where I instantly turn to with this too, your heart breaks for Okudah because he's been dealing with a lot already just based on how he's been playing, all that kind of stuff. Number 2, you never want to see something like this. But number 3, for the Lions, I think the future becomes cloudy, even more cloudy than it was already.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got reamed out on the sidelines. And the thing about an Achilles is, most of the time, you're never the same.
Right.
And this guy was not good in the first place in the NFL, but he's not going to be as athletic as he was. So this could be the beginning of the end of Jeff Okudah.
And real talk, again, I go back to it because I live in a reality-based world where the thing that jumps out to me about Jeff Okudah, 4 years, $33 million on the books. Like, right. That's what it is. You weren't getting value for that already. And again, I wish him the best. Would love to see him recover. Would love to see him come back. But the odds, the science, as we like to say in today's day and age, the science suggests, Terry, that you're right.
Yeah, and I remember the quote of Bob Quinn. Well, why wouldn't you take this guy at number 3? This is why.
Yeah, and that could be Bob Quinn ringing you right now, Terry, I think. But
well, it probably was. It said spam on it, so yeah, it probably was from the Lions at least.
Absolutely, but that is the breaking news. Jeff Okudah will be lost for the rest of the season due to that ruptured Achilles. And 30,000-foot view, Terry. This football team was down 38-10. And I know that the overriding theme, the prevailing theme is everyone wants to celebrate the fact that they didn't quit. And look, that's what coaches do. I've been around sports a long time, as you have. When you lose, you go to that. You say, hey, the effort, we didn't quit, things like that. I'm sorry, man, and I'm not being a hater. I guess I should have put this to the people. And an extra big hello to those of you jumping in on the YouTube thread. I would say, do you guys want me to go positive or negative first? That's what I should have done.
I like for you to go reality. What's the reality?
The reality of the situation for the Detroit Lions is they were down 38-10, man. You don't get points for coming back. You don't get points for playing hard. That's your profession. That's what you do. Should I go to management of Woodward Sports and have a crappy show and say, but I never quit. Every time we came back from commercial, I was there on the screen, right, and I started talking again. You got to give me a lot of credit.
Here's the thing that people don't put into consideration. Often, I've been in opposing locker rooms, and I've seen games like this where the Lions are down 30 and end up losing by 8 or 9 points or something like that. I've had a number of players tell me from opposing teams that they let up, that we thought they're down, so we didn't play as hard as we should have. It's sort of like if you have a beast of the jungle that's hunting this little animal, and then he slaps him around and everything, and then he kind of lets up because he knows this animal is defenseless. I think San Francisco, in part, yes, the Lions didn't quit, but you're not getting a chocolate chip cookie for me for that.
No, I'm not giving you credit for that. That's your job.
Part of it. I'm sure the 49ers are like, these guys are dead. Let's get on. They already had their minds on the flight back to the West Coast.
And Terry, you and I have played these videos before. You look at these fights in stadiums, right? There always comes a point in those fights when even the one guy that's getting beat up pretty bad, the guy that's doing the beating, pulls back eventually. And it's similar to that. I mean, yeah, you're not getting credit from me, man. You're just not. And it's, it's good storytelling. There are some positives that came out of the game, which I certainly will talk about, and that was one of them right there. The fact that they were able to run the football. But I'm putting an immediate cease and desist on this. They didn't quit talk.
Thank you very much.
When you're 30,
what did we say about
you're
Pat Stafford? He padded stats at the end of the games with meaningless yards, meaningless points. It's the same thing yesterday. I've seen this movie before.
Right. And on our YouTube chat thread, Emerald Eyes says, Green Bay did quit, LOL. And yeah, Green Bay quit. There's no doubt about that. But guess what? They're both 0-1.
That's true.
And guess what? Everybody's tied for the division lead in the NFC North. We will say that. Big Monday night game sets the stage, Terry.
Oh, yeah, for first place.
Monday night football, the battle for first place. Woo! There it is, right there.
Go Lions!
Look who's up top.
I love it. Lions 10 wins, baby.
You asked for the positives, folks. Here's some of the positives. You're tied for first, and we'll get into the Penei Sewell stuff coming up in just a couple of minutes. But that's just where I had to start, because the way that I saw that going around social media, the way that I saw that discussed, it just didn't sit well with me, man. It didn't. It was 38-10. I'm not making that up. That's not what I think. I saw it on the screen.
I just think there's so many people in this city that want to believe in the Lions so badly that when they get mollywopped like they did yesterday and then make a comeback, and say, that's my team right there. That's the team we're going to see the rest of the season. No, it's not. When you get down 28 points, that's who you are. A lot of times, NFL teams, once they get you down, they let up. A lot of them let up. And that's why when you look at the NFL, no matter how bad or how good a team is, 50% of games are decided by one score or less. Because all you got to do is win by 1 point. And it's a league that's set up for every game to be close. And yesterday's game, even though they lost by 8, was not a close game.
Right. Now there were some things that I saw certainly from the coaching staff that I did enjoy. Like we talked about Jeff Okudah, and it's unfortunate that this news came out the way that it did. But there were some moments I liked where what we saw from this coaching staff. Jeff Okudah was one of those moments where the defensive backs coach for the Detroit Lions was giving it to him because he had a play out there. Wasn't good enough, Terry.
Yeah, Mr. Pleasant was not very pleasant with him.
Aubrey Pleasant was not happy whatsoever. And I know that a lot of people celebrated this, and I know Art will be bringing this up, and here we have the footage of it now. Aubrey Pleasant was getting into Jeff Okudah. And Jeff Okudah looked like he had some things to say, which I don't understand, that's why Aubrey Pleasant was a little more lit about things than he might have been otherwise. But I did like what we saw from the coaching staff in that respect.
But I'll say this. Jeff Okudah is a man. You want to defend yourself. You just don't want to take it and be totally silent. He's not a 12-year-old child. So there was probably some things he wanted to get off his chest. I'm fine with that. But I've been told over and over and over again by NFL players, do not pay attention to what happens on the sideline of an NFL game. It's pure emotion down there. Heat of the
moment, yeah.
4 or 5 times a game somebody gets cussed out. We don't see them all on camera, but that's just the way it is on the NFL sideline.
Right. And the comments are rolling in, and it does really boil down to a lot of what you're saying right now. And Miko says on our YouTube chat thread, you can get involved as well, says the reality is they are who we thought they were. And that is true. I think, Terry, and you know this, hopium sells at the beginning of an NFL season, no matter what. I mean, people in Jacksonville, people in Houston, even here in Detroit, when you're 0-0, man, it's still out there in front of you. And I get caught up in it. I do. Sunday morning, I got excited a little bit because that's our human nature, Terry. You've seen this for many, many years. Hope springs eternal, man. But the reality is we saw what they are.
But I don't get it with this team. I don't get it with this team because year after year after year after year, they show you who they are. They're a mediocre to bad football team. And then in September, before that first game, is you know what? Got a shot this year. No, you don't. You don't have a shot. This year's team didn't have a shot. But what we need to look for, are they making progress for the future? Are these young guys getting snaps and getting experience and improving for the future? This is a wasted season. Your victories might be what you saw in the fourth quarter yesterday. They play hard to the end and lose. That might be your victories for this 2021 season. Not saying they're going 0-17, but that's going to be pretty much the reason that you cheer for this team, because they don't give up. But they're a bad football team. And yesterday, once again, no chocolate chip cookies and milk from me. You got your butts handed to you. And I'm convinced San Francisco is like, okay, what time's our flight? All right, fellas, don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Well, I'll tell you what. The end of that football game was big for some people. If you busted open your mind, go for the app.